Today's film is an action thriller from 2022 titled Athena. The film opens with a French lieutenant, Abdel, walking into the press conference outside the police station. He addresses to the media that the cops are accused of shooting his 13-year-old brother, Idrar, but he will not take any provocative actions against them. Amidst his statement, Abdul spots his younger brother, Karim, in the crowd. He lights up an alcohol bottle and throws it at the crowd to create a diversion. As the people create a panic, he and his supporters loot the police weapons and flee in a police van. As they hit the road, we see the gang multiplying. Karim brings them to Athena, a suburban complex where the brothers live. It turns out they have barricaded the entire Athena and have cut it off from the rest of France. Karim walks towards the cellar with the stolen weapons. On his way, a dude tells him he's stolen similar tracksuits for everyone, so the police can't differentiate between them. Karim spots a group of confused residents. He appeals that they remain locked down in their apartments for their safety. In his absence, we see another group of crazy teenagers making videos to promote their cause on social media. A young boy puts on a Kevlar vest while the other one shoots him with the police vehicle to make a statement online. Karim and his supporters gear up and walk over the bridge to face the police. We see a CRS riot police unit headed to tackle the rioters that have taken over Athena. They intend to weaken the barricades to launch a synchronized attack. Among the police unit is Jerome, who's told about a notorious terrorist named Sebastian from Syria, who's next on their list. Jerome and his second unit march towards the bridge where the first unit is already waiting for them. The rioters launch firecrackers at the police. We see Abdel and the rioters trying to back them off, but no one cares. Scenes spin to Abdel's eldest brother, Mukhtar, who's a drug dealer. Currently, he's at his employee's house to retrieve the drugs she has stolen from him. He also deals in illegal weaponry, which he intends on sneaking out of Athena before the police raid it. He tries to find a way out at night, but Karim has gotten all the entrances blocked and isn't willing to open them for anybody. Mukhtar hides his contraband in an abandoned building and confronts Karim. He tries to tell him what he's doing is going to bite him in the butt, but Karim refuses to take orders from him as he's hooked on revenge. He holds back his anger and pushes Mukhtar away before he loses his temper. On the other hand, all the men gather in the mosque. They begin refuting angrily as some want to evacuate with their families, and some fear Karim's wrath and want to stay in lockdown. There, Abdel arrives and shows support despite being the oppressor's brother. He makes evacuating their first priority, but before that, he's told to secure the terrorist Sebastian before he teams up with Karim and makes things worse. Abdel sets out on a bike that his friend rides and starts looking for Karim. He stops by the bridge once again and tries to stop the boys from shooting fireworks at the police, but he's terribly outnumbered. After no one pays attention to him, he and his friend follow a group of kids through the fireworks and find Sebastian, who happens to be a mentally deranged person with no hint of what's happening around him. Abdel and his friend grab him and bring him to a kindergarten, where they make him aware of the situation and lock him up before heading out. Abdel returns to his home, which is overcrowded by people. They've all gathered to pray at Idra's funeral. Abdel's mother arrives and helps him change into the traditional clothes before saying his prayers. There, Abdel spots Karim from a distance. Before he can talk to him, something threatening happens in the crowd, which prompts Abdel to evacuate the house. Karim also vanishes with the crowd. Now alone, he talks to his little sister about Karim's violent plans. She turns out to be his supporter who scolds Abdel for not supporting his own brothers. Frustrated, Abdel walks out of there and starts looking for Karim. He walks through the residents who have all come out to oppose Karim's movement and evacuate Athena. He spots his mother in the crowd, who cries and begs Abdel to save Karim from the mess. He finally spots Karim, who's on top of an apartment building, throwing furniture and heavy appliances at the police. The police end up throwing tear gas bombs at them. Karim grabs one and tries throwing it back at them, but it explodes in his hand and injures it. When he goes to bandage it, he finds out the police have marched in from the back exit. He runs there alone and defends the police. Soon, the number of oppressors multiplies. They outnumber the cops and push them out of the exit point using dumpsters. On the other hand, we see the negotiator who arrives at the police station and bails Abdel out of there. It turns out the police mistook Abdel for being on Karim's side and arrested him. Despite the accusations, he doesn't condone violence and walks away with the negotiator. He claims to know Abdel from the military and has high hopes that only he can convince Karim to put an end to his emotionally stimulating riot. On the contrary, Karim gathers the oppressors to lay down his next move. He's convinced that the cops are trying to cover their men, that shot IDR, by shifting the blame on terrorists. Due to this conspiracy, his next move involves capturing a police officer and keeping him hostage until the police bring forward the guilty shooters. Outside Athena, the riot police call more units and grow in number. This time, they climb the bridge and raid the places nearby. Karim and the oppressors gather them in the compound and launch fireworks at them again. Herded in the middle, the cops form a circle and shield themselves. Karim arrives there and sets a fire near the police using an alcohol bottle. Many cops get injured, so they disperse. Jerome gets singled out from his unit during this. He momentarily hides and changes his uniform to disguise himself among the rioters. But Karim and his men spot him in an instant and beat him up. Mukhtar's story continues, in which he's seen stressing over someone on the phone who's failing to send help from outside. He makes one of his men dig a trench to escape from Athena. Back on Abdel's side, the negotiator shows him the ransom video of Jerome that Karim sent to the police station. In the video, he demands a life sentence for the shooters of IDR in exchange for Jerome, or else they'll shoot him dead. The negotiator helps Abdel understand that he should make Karim comply with the police before the government involves the military and shoots all the oppressors, including their pioneer, Karim. Abdel agrees to him and personally meets Karim. He tries to tell him his way of seeking justice is criminally insane and that he should release Jerome. When Karim opposes his harmonious views, Abdel understands his right to be mad and hugs him. He tells him none of this is going to bring Eder back but get everyone killed. This maddens Karim, who accuses Abdel of being on the police's side. Abdel figures it's useless to incline him and goes to rescue Jerome on his own. Karim's men come after them with their fireworks, but he and Jerome outrun them. When they come outside, the police begin shooting at them without recognizing Jerome because he's out of his uniform. Abdel helps Jerome get back inside a building with closed shutters. Some men shoot back at the cops and drive them away from there. Inside, Abdel discovers Mukhtar, who's safekeeping his weapons along with his men. He tells Abdel about the trench they're digging to get out of here. Suddenly, he interrogates him about Jerome and gets mad when he finds out he's a police officer. Abdel convinces him that Jerome is their only way out. He intends to release him so the cops can stop panicking and back off. On the other hand, Karim receives a call from his mother, who complains that his other brothers are not picking up her calls. He soon finds out where Abdel is hiding Jerome and walks alone to get him back. Through the shutters, Abdel tells him his plan to get the cops off their backs, but Karim threatens to set fire to their building with the lit alcohol bottle he's holding right now. Simultaneously, a cop arrives from behind and tries to apprehend him. Before Karim can throw the bottle at him, the cop shoots him. This causes the lit alcohol bottle to explode and set Karim on fire. When the cop runs away from there, Abdel comes out and puts out the fire using a fire extinguisher. He breaks down completely and brings his burnt corpse inside. Mukhtar also grieves, but his primary motive to escape is still. This maddens Abdel, who finally loses his temper and beats Mukhtar for letting the situation get out of hand in the first place. Mukhtar doesn't fight back and faints after taking multiple punches in the face. He finally switches sides and decides to avenge his brothers. The negotiator calls him and tries to convince him that the police officer who shot Karim was only defending himself. Abdel now threatens him and tells him he's going to burn this place to the ground. He approaches the rioters and anoints himself as their new leader. He instructs them to bring out the weapons Karim looted from the police station earlier this noon. He calls the negotiator once again and gives him an hour to bring forward the shooters of Karim and Eder, or else he'll shoot Jerome. Now the rioters bring out Sebastian, who explodes the safe to take out weapons and equip the rioters with them. He then begins making DIY bombs in the building, so Abdel pushes the residents out of there. He calls the negotiator for the updates, who twists the narrative by claiming that Ider's shooter was a civilian disguised as the police. Hence, he cannot find the real shooter on such short notice. Abdel loses his temper and yells at him to own the truth. He then takes the call back to Jerome and threatens to shoot him. He has his final outburst, in which he opens fire from his gun. It turns out he spared Jerome and shot the wall next to him. He lets him go and convinces the rioters to surrender as well. They take his order, since he's their leader, and take off their shirts before heading outside so the cops can differentiate between them and the residents. Abdel remains inside the building, accepting defeat and knowing that a common man can never beat the system. Soon, the bomb explodes and tears down the entire building, in which Abdel is torn to shreds. Scenes rewind to Ider's shooting. His shooters record everything and head back to the woods, where they burn their police uniforms, confirming that they were extremists who used the public for their personal agenda to diminish the government. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more awesome recaps.